Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first round of UWAnime's Mini League of Legends tournament. I'm your main host, Samson Dejik Spark, the current president of the club, and co-hosting me today is Brian Savage Wu. Would you like to introduce yourself, Brian?
It's great to be here on this fine Easter Saturday as we have two great teams duking it out in two matches for us.
So our first game is going to be Minecraft Epic Dabber Society and Sons and Co. Polity Limited up against the Titanic. So the Minecraft Dabbers are headed by committee's own OCM Liam and some of his mates, as well as a fill-in AD carry. And the Titanic is last year's team from our committee that represented us over at the Uni Rumble. And our second game is going to be Triumph against Tyler2. Triumph is currently our highest seeded team from looking into people and seeding them correctly, and Tyler 2 is actually just the evil twin of Tyler 1 as 5 people. The only roster changes that have been made is that the AD carry and mid lane have swapped for the Minecrafters, and we've got Ruin and Gun as the Tyler 2 support.
We actually have a lot of great players here. One of these players, I was looking up his OCE.op.gg earlier, and I thought it was bronze too. But here in the custom match, it turns out he is a TFT god, Diamond 4, and we have a Diamond 3 with the Bubba Boy over here for the Epic Minecraft Dabbers. So let's see if they can bring some of that TFT action into actual League of Legends play.
Yeah, well, I mean, TFT is definitely a very skill-based game that is very difficult to play. Haven't played any of the new ones myself. Only really played a lot of TFT when it first came out and realized it wasn't for me. Hashtag fake.
That's it. The only thing I know about TFT is the Duga Duga Korean ad, and that's about it. But let's give these guys a little bit of an intro to the people that are going to be versing today. So, starting off with Epic Minecraft Dabbers, we have Bob D Bloop, the top laner.
So we've got him as. Sorry, let me just jump up to. I've got too much stuff on my screen right now. So we currently have he is silver 3 with a 58 win percent rate on Pantheon with the 2 KDA, 100% win rate on Fiora. So he's mainly obviously top lane. He likes to play his volatile, aggressive bruiser slash melee fighter top laners. So he obviously seems to enjoy his fighting and his 1v1. So that should be interesting if he picks some volatile top laners, and if his jungler gets him ahead, he may be very hard to stop.
And out in the jungle, we have Bob Roy Plat 2 picking up that Tom Thomas catch at 67% win rate. What else has he got, Daedric?
He's got a 33 win rate on Graves, surprisingly, but a 100% win rate on Jarvan, so it may be interesting if he picks that Jarvan, because Jarvan is very malleable into many different team comps, so it's a very strong pick, especially if he's on blue.
Interesting to know, our boy Bubba Boy is actually a support player in ranked play, but as we all know, jungle is basically support nowadays anyway, so we can look to see if he can support his team out near Krugs. Over
That
in
one
the mid lane,
hits me a little too
we
hard
have
there.
Rocky Rocks.
Who is a bronze one Luxman, but he has actually been swapped into the AD carry role. And we are going to move Laser Cake into mid lane. So those two are being swapped around currently. They just notified me recently. And then for their support, Bear of the South, it's mainly seems to play things like Rakan and Nami with fairly high win rates in both. So Enchanter healing sort of support. So it'll be interesting if he decides to take a more engage heavy route or if he wants to go for an Enchanter.
So just like my low elo solo queue games in Gold 4, it seems like this team is ready to fight. Lots of team fighting potential there as we move on to the Titanic with their top lane Dig YPTB, Bronze 2.
Actually, one of our previous presidents, Lewis, he plays a very wide range of champions. He plays on a whole bunch of different roles. So it'll be very interesting. I feel like his champion pool will be very hard to ban, seeing you don't really know what he'll pick until he locks it in.
Over in his jungle play, we've got Karoku Moata, the Bronze 4.
Another person from previous committee who plays normally tank junglers. He likes his Zac, but he also likes to play some things like Nocturne. So it'll be interesting to see if he decides to take out a tanky jungler and try to support his team, or more go with quite an aggressive AD jungler.
In the mid lane, we have the unranked Varan card.
Another previous president, Brian, who very much likes his Viger, also enjoying his things like his Zerath and his Cassidon. Not Cassidon, sorry, Cassiopeia in ranked. But yeah, definitely his Viger pick is certainly one to be reckoned with, and definitely will draw a ban slot.
And Patico, one of the actual subs for the league team, Tower Charm pleasing Clash.
Who plays also quite a varied roles. He seems to enjoy his Misfortune, Tristana, Severe, but his champion pool with AD carry seems to be quite varied with what he likes to play and how he wants to go with his support. So it'd be quite interesting to see what he picks there.
And also, almost as old as the club, almost 10 years now, Remilia, the twin.
Twin.
Nice seeing him again.
Yes, another ex-committee. Very well known Nautilus, his Yumi, his Soraka. So he's very well versed in his supports. He's very used to playing with this team. So it'd be good if they can keep that synergy going with them.
That's it. That's it for the teams. Are we ready to go in, Daedric?
Let me double check with the teams to see if we are all good to go. It seems like everyone is in. Yep, cool. Seems like we're in. Now let's jump into... Now let me just get it started.
Do keep in mind, I was playing Clash earlier and Champion Select did screw up, so please bear with us as we hope right servers do perform in this UWAnime Round 1, Game 1 with Epic Minecraft Dabbers versus the Titanic.
Let's just try to get this.
And as always, we can play the TFT ad if necessary.
Not right now. I think that I'm not sure just with the order of Team 1.
People yelling at us in the custom game lobby chat, trying to figure out how to start this game.
And we are in. Let's jump across over to Champion Select.
Yes, we have the bands coming through for a laser cake. Hits the Vega straight away, does not want to deal with that Vega of the Varan card.
No, it is quite a force we reckon with. Taking away the Graves from the jungler. You have to excuse the noise. I've got noises set on for following when I solo stream, and I'm not entirely sure where to turn them off. Because I did it ages ago, so you just have to ignore those noises every now and then. The Fiora and the Gnar, both top lane bans, trying to impact the volatile top lane that will most likely take place.
Misfortune, one of the strongest ADCs in this patch, boasting a 55% win rate overall in Plat plus solo queue.
Fits into a lot of different roles, can play aggressively or defensively with the amount of CC and whatnot she has. And the Jarvan ban. So Jarvan, one of the reasons why Jarvan is so strong is that he fits into a whole lot of different team concepts, whether it be aggressive, defensive, he can get early damage, he can tank late. But it looks like we've got a Morgana lock-in for the support of the Minecrafters.
Interesting enough, Bear of the South, the support from Minecraft, hasn't actually played Morgana before. It might actually be a flex, but we'll see where they decide to put him.
Yeah, there is also the possibility of putting it mid lane, which was stronger previously, but has now been since nerfed, seeing that the wave clear of her W is to be a lot stronger.
Where the Maokai pick over to there, lots of tankiness here, as Nocturne, the darkness coming through.
Nice. Very interesting to see. So, the reason why Maokai has actually had a sudden resurgence is because people are trying their hand at really trying to hard carry out of either jungle or AD carry. So Maokai taking teleport, having presence on the map, being an ultra tank, being able to peel for everyone makes it very hard for the enemy team to deal with him and get onto his carries.
We have the ADC's worst nightmare. Mordecai has been picked by Bubba Boy.
Oh yes, one of the best characters where if you understand itemization, he absolutely pops off. So I'm very intrigued to see what happens here.
Hovering the Lux, but maybe going Vel'Koz. Rocky Rock's picking up the Vel'Koz. see what rank card. What do you think?
Apologies.
How do you reckon the rest of this draft is going to play out, Daedric, with the current picks as they are, as we go into the second round of ban?
From what it seems is a lot of Minecraft's team comp is very much keeping the enemy at a distance and trying to combo them and like trying to keep them at a distance and use their long range damage. So their best bets would be trying to keep people away from them.
I'll beat it out of you.
So let me just get this fixed here. Sorry, I just had a little bit of a mishap with this stuff there. And
we'll have a comment here that one of the overlays is a bit screwed. There we
that's
go.
right, I moved it back. It's right. It's working now. So
as we see, second round of bans, Pike banned and the Vi ban, not wanting to deal with that Q from the Pike, not wanting to deal with the Vi R.
Which is interesting because it basically one of the things that Vi would do would be negate the Maokai pick and allow Vi to access the backline. So they're really trying to stop anyone from trying to get into that backline.
See here, what is Paddyco going to pick with the Tristana?
I like it, I like it. It makes sure that he can navigate the team fights against this fairly long range comp fairly well. It also allows him to just keep everyone at arm's distance, not allow people to jump onto him, and if he gets jumped onto by the Mordekaiser, he always has the ultimate to push Mordekaiser away and buy more time, and then eventually Tristana can itemize into a QSS, seeing that she does take quite a lot of items to come online. She can stunt the growth because she'll eventually get there with levels. Now, we may actually... Oh, that was close.
Xin Zhao, 0-second lock-in right there, cutting it close.
So yeah, he's obviously looking to be quite aggressive early, so he's probably going to try to snowball some of the more volatile lanes, similarly to the Mordekaiser. But it'll be interesting to see what they play AD carry with this, because it's very long range comp, very trying to keep people at arm's distance. And then Xin Zhao is very much move in and disperse. So we're going to say, oh, I see.
Oh, the set.
The set. So
Oh, someone exited the game. It seems like we are faced with technical difficulties here once again. The epic Minecraft dabbers.
Let's just jump back over to the screen while we handle it. It seems like there was a client bug. So your prediction of Clash client not going well seemed to come true in the end.
Yeah,
so...
as we all know, Riot Games is currently doing the Valorant closed beta, and it seems they've taken away some of the League servers and are currently running them on potato servers. We know Summit 1G is currently streaming on Valorant, so we're going to get this sorted out stream. Maybe we'll play a little ad while we wait.
Sure thing, we'll just jump over to a quick ad break now while we wait.
얘들아 승용보 올려라 머리매너 헤이 TFT 모바일 도동동작 또로로로 갤럭시 푸동동작 헤이 TFT 모바일 도동동작 또로로로 갤럭시 푸동동작 또 떨어져 허구와 날라다타 여긴 갤럭시 너의 자식 얼럭키드 너의 두뇌 그래서 타지 않아 21세기 네 전략 이래 전략 능지 차이 나는 널 능지 터차미 롤 아재 롤린 이돌 롤린 인더들 자 이제 누나 막간 담아 회전 초밥 뒤집개로 뒤집어라 레디 셋색 TFT 모바일 도동동작 또로로로 갤럭시 푸동동작 TFT 모바일 도동동작 또로로로 갤럭시 푸동동작 라이어가 멋이 도동동작 TFT 모바일 푸동동작 온유월 서리 가득 찰노동작 또로로로 갤럭시 푸동동작 하다 현타 푸동동작 TFT 갤럭시 푸동동작 유체 뉴 시너지 전설등장 멋이 팬츠 우주 푸동동작 리그 오브 레전드 전략 게임 TFT 모바일 푸동동작.
And we are back, just waiting on the last person to join. It seems like we have a little bit more information on the bug. It seems like it was a bug where one of the players on Minecrafters was unable to see any of the champions, and it just picked him random. So the Xin Zhao pick, I believe, was random, and it just kind of locked it in. So, and they are just loading up and waiting in out. It seems like we're in. And I believe we might be back into Champion Select any moment now.
Interesting to see. Are these teams allowed to pick other random champions and ban random champions, or are we forcing them to?
Let me just quickly jump in just to double check. I'll just quickly chuck this off. Let me just quickly...
They're cheating.
Just remember, lads. No, same ones, same ones.
Yeah, same one.
Yeah. We got it.
Same pick ban, just so you know.
Yeah. We just got the order wrong.
Welcome back.
Cool.
To the
Alright,
casting
I
desk.
should have jump into each of the calls and just tell them to do the same pick ban. They were a little concerned, saying that it was Graves, Nah, Jarvan, and they were like, oh god, are they cheating and changing their picks and bans? So we're just going to catch back up to where we were before.
So easy. Who needs Echo's Time Warp when we had the UWAnime Daedric Zeus casting Time Warp?
Unfortunately, we don't have the Chrono Break, so let's hope that there's no game-breaking bug in the middle of the game, because we don't have access to anything like the Chrono Break that they have over at Riot Games.
So good as we see the team slowly just picking up what they have picked. So given these team compositions right here, what are the win conditions here for Minecraft Dabbers out on the left side?
Minecraft Dabbers very much need to rely on their 2-item power spike. So Mordekaiser spikes very heavily when he gets his first 2 items, which is his Leandri's Torment and his Rylai's Crystal Scepter. Seeing that Leandri's Torment, health, damage, percentage increase in damage as he is in combat, and then he also has that max health burn. That max health burn is nearly doubled when the enemy is crowd controlled. Was Rek'Sai picked previously?
No, he wasn't. I don't actually recall, but it might have been what the Xin Zhao pick wants
Maybe.
to be.
Maybe it was. So with the thing that Mordekaiser needs to do is needs to get those 2 items. Then when he has his W on and his passive activated, he will then shred through people's health.
I'll beat it out of you.
It seems very much with the Nocturne side, the problem becomes that Maokai wants to set up Nocturne to get ahead. The second that Mordekaiser hits 6, it's very, very hard for Nocturne to actually gank. So it will become quite hard for Nocturne to snowball off the lane that he's trying to prep to snowball, because Mordekaiser can just press R on Nocturne or R on Maokai, and it just goes from a 2v1 to a 1v1.
And it looks like we finally see the ADC picks for the Minecraft Dabbers with the Jhin against the Tristana in the bottom lane.
Which also goes with the 2 to 3 item power spike, with Jhin getting the Storm Razor and the Infinity Edge bumps his damage up quite heavily, especially that 4th shot. And the Vel'Koz.
Final pick is coming through, 20 seconds left. Remilia the Twin using his big brain.
It'd be interesting to see if the Lux is the mid lane pick or if it is the support pick that was picked early, actually. So, it'd be interesting to see which one comes.
He's waiting. He might be waiting all the way down to the 0 seconds. Let's hope he picks on time. This is a Thresh support.
It's a Thresh support. I like it. I like it. So they'll have their choose their loadout. It'll count down, and then we'll have about a 3-minute session until we can go view. So just to make sure that people aren't loading up the stream on someone else on their computer and then stream sniping, we're just going to keep it at that 3-minute break on this. So we'll just chat about the draft and talk about the lanes and whatnot and go from there.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of PTSD here from a Lux. I know ADCs really hate fed Luxes, so this mid lane Lux pick is going to cause havoc for this Jhin, but he does have the Morgana. Hopefully he can save his ass.
Yeah, and then also Jhin will find it very hard to deal with things like the Lux and the Tristana until he gets to 3 items, because he needs that rapid fire cannon to be able to keep them at a range. But he doesn't want to build a rapid fire cannon second, because then it will stunt his damage. So he really wants to get his Storm Razor, his Infinity Edge, and then he wants to wait. So you should see up the top there, it should just say spectator delay, or it may even drag us in and we'll have to pause. No, there we go, cool.
No,
Spectator delay.
delay.
Sweet. So
I do like this Tristana pick against the 2 tanks. Running press the attack potentially on Tristana. We don't know what runes they're running yet, but it does allow her to get that true damage onto the tanks in the mid game.
Yep. And it won't stunt her build path to build things like percentage shred late, and then a Mortal Reminder will also be very strong she'll probably get trapped in with Mordekaiser quite a bit, and it'll really help against Jhin, because Jhin will most likely have Fleet Footwork, he'll have Legend Bloodline, he'll eventually get Lifesteal very late into the game, and then when he starts critting really large numbers and getting that Lifesteal on top, he really starts to hurt.
Yep. And just to note for our viewers, we also aren't playing on some beta patch, we are playing on live, so the Tristana buffs have not gone through, so she does not deal 50% more bonus AD damage. That would be a bit of a buff.
Oh, okay. What are they changing that to an E?
So yeah, her E essentially has 50% more bonus AD damage, so that's going to be a huge boon for both Tristana ADC and Tristana
And
mid
Tristana
lane.
mid, that's the problem. That's the problem I'm concerned about. So the reason, as a little bit of background, the reason why Tristana mid got so popular was was because it was at the time where Azir, Gorky, Lux, those quite immobile mages that want to farm up and have abilities to keep people at range, that they were starting to become meta in mid lane. So the answer to it, seeing that they could stand back, they could have long range, and Lucian wasn't doing it because of his more short range, he was starting to pick Tristana, because she could drop a bomb on them, auto-attack them 3-4 times, jump on them, and then when the bomb pops, it resets the cooldown of a jump and she can jump out. And if the mage misses any of their abilities, they immediately either lose the trade or just die.
That's it. And that is also why they nerfed a lot of the AD carries. We're seeing a lot of picks like MF, not the traditional things like Xayah. Xayah is getting a slight buff next patch with that 5% more damage hitting by multiple feathers. So Riot is hoping to change it back to the crit meta. Might be a bit too early. It isn't Worlds yet, Riot, but we'll see how they go with the constant ADC balancing. I know my rank is going to stay low unless they start buffing things like Severe again, but we'll see how that...
Yeah, it's always been a very difficult thing to try to balance out crit 80 carries and then trying to diversify out the bot lane meta. Because even then, when you have crit meta, other crit 80 carries like Jhin can also fall off because they just get outscaled and outlaned by other crit 80 carries. So then the meta becomes Xayah, Siva, Caitlyn, that sort of stuff. So it becomes very hard to balance that sort of thing. All I can say is I'm very happy that it's not the Ardent Sensor meta of 2017, because thank goodness that is well gone. Now I believe we'll be getting into game just here. I'll just double check that the overlay, yep, the overlay is correct. Let's just...
We are jumping into the loading screen. Let's hope no one crashes, because that would be really bad.
It would be very awkward. So we'll take a moment for it to pop up on the screen as the viewers. Normally it kicks into seeing what's happening kind of after you load into game. So just, oh no, it's working now, cool.
So let's look at this skin. We all know that Riot is pay to win, and these guys will probably get some kind of secret hidden AD and AP bonus. We have a 5-fighter Tristana, legendary skin, 1,820 RP for the ADC. Countered though by the Dark Cosmic Jhin, another legendary skin. Thresh with the no skin. I think the bot lane, from the pay to win perspective, has got it out for them.
Yes, it's very interesting actually. I see Jin's rune choices, which is actually the Dark Harvest instead of the Fleet Footwork. So he's actually looking to abuse the shorter range Tristana at the early levels, because Tristana gains range through the game when she levels. So Dark Harvest is very much around trying to keep your opponent low, building quite heavy AD early, and then using the bounces of your Q to really chunk the enemy. And then eventually when you have Dark Harvest on top of that, it becomes very hard for the enemy to walk up.
And we do see Thresh here. He is picking up the Exhaust instead of the Ignite, carrying the Morgana. We'll see how that goes. Who do you think his priority targets are, Daedric?
Mordekaiser, 100%. He wants to, especially if he gets a good jump onto Tristana and kills her before she can get a QSS. Coming out of it, he becomes very, very strong. Now, let's just make sure that we definitely do start at the same time. I'm going to pause it 5 seconds, because it's just staying at 0 for the moment, as it's...
Yeah, just staying at 0 for me as well.
That's all good. So let me just open that up.
Hopefully we don't just see a black screen all game.
Yeah, that would be not very handy. I believe maybe it's because the... Oh, here we go. So
it just started? I think we both started at once. Should be all good.
Okay, sure.
Yep.
6, 7, 8, 9. Cool, sweet.
We're good.
Let's get rid of the time controls. And we are off. Now,
as you see here, Mordekaiser with the Doran shield by... Okay.
Yes, because he's... Actually, I honestly am not sure with the Doran shield buy. The problem is that he does want to be aggressive in lane, but the itemization to go aggressive, it's quite hard to take something else other than Doran shield, because other ones kind of, you lose the stats. You're not auto-attacking a whole crap ton, so Doran's Blade isn't that amazing, but you don't have any mana things, so all the mana stuff becomes very irrelevant. Red side here looking for a possible invade, just trying to scout. Makes sense with the Thresh. I recommend that they would actually brute force up and try to place a ward onto the red, seeing that Rek'Sai is a very early game pick and wants to pressure. As we see some trash talk happening in chat already, I like it. Thresh has walked up and left a ward there. I still think we should have tried to get over the wall if he possibly could, but seeing he didn't have his team backing him up and Morgana was somewhere around, it is quite dangerous to do that.
It is nothing doing here though, as both junglers are just preparing to take both of their bottom side buffs as we start into the game. The Lux versus the Vel'Koz Miz, lane's pushing in.
So yeah, both junglers starting, fairly standard route. Rek'Sai will most likely move from his red into his... actually, he's looking to do his entire red side clear, so he may be looking to impact bot on mid early. So bot and bots will be meeting together at the same time. Mid lane, we've got some Vel'Koz dishing out some poke into Lux. And Mordekaiser's already started to take over this lane with his stepping up and trying to zone with his Qs. But I think one of the more interesting early game lanes will most likely be this bot lane here, with Bear of the South already flicking out his mastery.
Certainly, we do see Morgana missing the Dark Binding there, but nothing doing level 1. Both ADCs trying to push for that level 2 with the Jhin with the Solar Lead here, but Tristana does auto push with her E passive.
Yep, so Tristana will auto push, but then Jhin with his Q will most likely try to auto push back. As Tristana, it becomes quite difficult for Tristana to walk up, because he can just bounce like that, and that's easy poke.
Here in the mid lane, Lux getting chunked by the Vel'Koz, checked down to 25%, gets hit by Vel'Koz Q and E.
But does get a decent amount of return damage with her CC,
and also with Tristana jumping into the bot side, almost gets the kill onto Morgana as the Dark Binding hits. Thresh does keep her at bay, misses the Dark Binding as we have nothing doing, but a lot of action going on, both mid and bot, chunked down.
Certainly seems to be an exciting lane, so let me just quickly swap Mordekaiser and Vel'Koz on the scoreboard there. And I was going to
see here, Mordekaiser does take a 10 CS lead above this Maokai. We can see this grows exponentially because if Mordekaiser does get more and more ahead, this might become a problem for this team out on the red side.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult for Maokai to try to push back a lead, and it's also very difficult for him to see.
Here we have a Q straight onto the Jhin, gets hit. Tristana ease in, gets the easy pickup kill. First blood here for the Titanic.
Oh, that's very good for Tristana. The Dark Harvest on Jhin is very much an early game power spike. Oh, as we see up on top side.
Here we have Flash easy by Mordekaiser getting out of that. Nocturne going back to lick his wounds.
And in mid, we've got Rek'Sai.
Double gangs top and mid as he flash knock up onto the Lux, gets hit by Vel'Koz knock up as well. Easy kill, 300 straight towards the jungler.
Looks like we're going straight for Fiesta, and Nocturne and Mordekaiser just had a tussle up top, but it looks like my game froze a little bit. I'm on 402, is that 3, 4, 5 are on the same time roundabout?
I'm 2 seconds ahead.
Okay.
I will pause for 2 seconds. Alright, 11, 12.
Yep, cool.
Too easy. We see Tristana after getting that kill backing with the Thresh. The wave is frozen in a weird state, but it will bounce back. As we see in the top lane, Maokai does break through that CS differential, only 3 behind now. As we see that gank by the Nocturne helping to alleviate some of that pressure.
But a lot of that minion catch up is Mordekaiser's not catching up with these minions here, so if he gets most of these, he'll still have around about a 10 CS lead. We've got Rek'Sai actually invading into the jungle of the blue side.
Does get it pretty easy. No plant. Can Nocturne catch him? Gets knocked up. Does pull down the E with the fear. Spell shields, nothing doing. Tristana W is in. This might be an easy pickup for Patico here. Might be able to get it. Easy. That's 80 damage, not AP damage. As they Thresh plays the wrong way, but Tristana W is in. Gets the hook onto the Morgana. Easy pickup there. As Tristana with the 2 kills and the cull as well with the buying. Wants that 100 CS gold bank.
And he is going to be a very difficult force to be reckoned with. And so I understood what Rek'Sai was trying to do. He was trying to deny as much as he could to this Nocturne, so he could just get 6 as late as possible. But he didn't have any bot pressure. The bot lane was pretty even. And also his mid lane was pushed in. So he wasn't able to protect himself if it was collapsed back in on him. So It's very, very bad now that Tristana's getting back ahead now in the mid lane. Just a little bit of trading.
Yeah, we see here in the mid lane, just small poke. We have, you know, Vel'Koz poke versus Lux poke. It'll be interesting what dragon we get this game. We know it's not going to be Mountain, so we get something for the poke, like Cloud or something. Might be quite good.
Cloud will be pretty interesting. I think Cloud will probably be best onto red side here. Oh, as we see a missed gank opportunity, but that's right. It's I think from what I saw with Rek'Sai, if I just double check, he does have Nimbus Cloak. I feel like if he blue smited Lux and Nimbus Cloaked, he could have actually got that knock up there, but ooh.
I see Vel'Koz as the Lux almost gets it, surviving on 42 HP. Lux with the counter are both mid laners chunked out, almost dead here. Cloud Fiesta in mid continues.
Oh, and Mordekaiser has nearly killed Maokai in top lane, but Maokai just sustaining it through it all. Mordekaiser's just backing now, enjoying his CS lead, going back to buy his item advantage, so he can work on that.
Both laners do have TP up in the top lane. Be interesting when they want to use it, as that first dragon is quite crucial, and Rek'Sai can slow that quite early on.
So Mordekaiser did actually use his TP to go back up there quite quickly, which I felt was actually kind of unnecessary, seeing the wave was slowly pushing back into him. If he walked back up there, he would have still had the majority of that wave still crashing into him, and then he could have held a teleport advantage, or at least a teleport match for the dragon. Now that they have a teleport advantage on the red side for dragon, it becomes quite hard. Unless if he uses it right now, it becomes quite hard for them to
really deep ward by Tristana in the bot side. They might get caught here by this binding. Thresh does get caught, gets to the Jin W as well as the Tristana going ham with the ult. Takes the Thresh land and jumps into the side, gets the Rek'Sai. Morgana gets the reset, flashes over the Dragon Pit as Jin comes in to try to save the day. Thresh gets out, Nocturne gets out. They get the one easy kill with the resets, causing pain for this blue side.
Now it's an absolute fiesta going on right here, but the person that's benefiting the most from it is this Tristana. The more and more gold that she gets on, the less and less of the low amount that she has where she's not as strong, the faster she can get to items, and the faster she becomes an absolute menace, where the rest of Blue's team, until she Mordekaiser can probably 1v1 her if he gets more ahead, but when she gets a QSS, then he can just do absolutely nothing.
I'd be interested to see what Rek'Sai's pathing is right here, because as all ADCs know, it doesn't matter if you're 10-0. If this Mordekaiser gets fed and he R's you, he can 1v1 you any state of the game.
Yep. Let me just quickly double check something. We've been in constant action. Okay, sweet. Let me just jump our cameras on. I had them off for the loading, but now I've popped us back on.
That is too easy. Hello stream. Hope you've enjoyed this Clown Fiesta so far. As we have the red side with the 2k advantage, but in the mid lane, Rek'Sai 1v1ing the Lux, gets the chomp, does ult to get in range as Nocturne tries to R to stop, but he does get the fear. Can he get the trade killed? Yes, he does. Easy Q, easy E.
Oh, it's a heavy kill game, this game. Nocturne picking up a kill is quite nice for him. He does certainly enjoy trying to get into those lethality items. Second, he can finish a complete lethality item. He changes from a half-decent champion into a champion and a half when it comes to the other game, because it really exploits people's lack of armor in the early game.
I do have a comment coming from the stream. It seems one of the overlays for the cameras is broken. We'll get that fixed shortly.
Give me 1 second. Sorry, I had to check something, and now I should have fixed it right there.
That is all good. Thank you once again, Twitch chat. You're not only good for memes, you're good for saving the day in terms of the stream aesthetics. As you see here, this 2k gold differential, but both teams seemingly okay with just farming this Tristana, getting more and more ahead with the 300 gold bounty, and the Nocturne as well, playing with that jungle ADC combo, getting the gold. As we see here in the top lane, the Mordekaiser and the Maokai fighting, but nothing doing. Two tanks pummeling at each other. We could be waiting 10 years for the finale of this bout.
Yes, especially now that Mordekaiser still has not got, he's pretty far away from getting his first full item, which is when he can start to properly shred Maokai. And Maokai's got the Spectral Veil, Spectral Cowl, sorry. So he's got health, he's got magic resist, and he can start really resisting.
Rek'Sai is playing around that top lane. He does want to get this Mordekaiser fed going for the Krugs. We'll see if they want to dive here as the Nocturne here helping Lux push out the mid lane, but going up to support his top lane as they go for this Rift Herald. This might be a contest. Nothing doing as he places the ward down.
Which is fair enough. He doesn't have the top lane priority. His mid laner still needs to get more pressure. It's more even there. However, I don't know if they've kept track of it, but they still have the teleport advantage. So you see them
We have
taking
the
away the red
invade
buff.
on the red buff by the blue side as Nocturne can't do anything but watch crying as they take over that. Maokai can't do anything. He's got a 30 CS deficit. What can he do to come back here?
Basically pray that team fights go better for them. As we see actually a bit of a trade in the bot lane.
Bot lane gets hit by the Dark Binding and the Jin W. Can this be a quick shutdown on Tristana? It does flash, but auto attacks Thresh instead of the Tristana. He does get the last curtain call ult here as the Tristana hits the Dark Binding, gets the Tristana with the third one. As you see, TP is coming down on the red side, trying to pick up back two onto the Tristana. That was a beautiful 300 gold shutdown for that Jin, clawing his way back. Tristana going in too deep in this bot lane.
And during all of that, a fight in the mid lane, Nocturne coming in and killing Lux, and then Rek'Sai killing both Lux and Nocturne because of the fact that they were both low from tower dive. So it's...
And once again, 300 gold bounty over to that team. This might be their chance at clawing back.
Yeah, it definitely is. And, you know, if they keep getting pressure into their, like, especially with Rek'Sai can exert that pressure. It's very much around how he can push that onto the rest of his team, though. The problem becomes if he hoards it and doesn't do a whole lot with it, Rek'Sai will fall off quite a bit down towards the late game. So he needs to convert that damage and lead into getting his top laner kills or his bot laner kills, and then that'll convert correctly. If he hoards it for himself and just starts hard farming, he won't do much in the late game.
That's it. As we see, Dragon is respawning in 45 seconds. It is going to be an Ocean Drake. We can see both teams trying to vie for some vision over here as they both set up. As Justana goes in with the W onto the Morgana straight in, gets the reset almost, jumps in with the W. Can they get the kill? Thresh does get it with play. They can't do anything with 25 seconds of Cloud Drake coming up.
And it's very interesting, now that the Cloud Drake's coming up, it means that we're going to have the two most overpowered dragons as the Soul Dragons. As I don't believe Thresh is close enough to follow up, but that's...
Jin is chunked as Nocturne spell shields the Vel'Koz, doesn't spell shield the knockup, has to flash over the wall. He is chunked, 30% HP, although he is healing and can get the plant and scuttle to heal as they go for this Cloud. We'll see. I think with the Tristana, they might be able to take it.
It'll still be a little bit of a contest, especially seeing that Jin will have his ultimate up soon. If they do get low in the pit, Rek'Sai can spam Q, Vel'Koz can spam Q.
Here we have a Mordekaiser as the pings come in. Lux Q straight as the Mordekaiser is. Gets 4 of them! Can he go in for the... Almost Penta does get him. As we have a Vel'Koz, huge damage onto the Thresh. Wow, this is crazy for the blue side team. Picking up all of these kills with the Jin final curtain call and the Rek'Sai picking up the damage. I think this is an easy Drake for the blue side, with the red side overextending, losing their lead. It is back to gold parity right here. 21.5k both pieces. Maokai can't do anything but lick his wounds in mid.
And that's, you know, just unfortunate seeing that they just had that teleport advantage, and that if Maokai was able to teleport in and use his ultimate on the entire enemy team, it also may have meant that it would have been a more even fight, but unfortunately it wasn't able to. If we look over at the gold score, Mordekaiser is actually over a K and a half over Maokai's gold score, so it means he can start getting that damage and he can start shredding Maokai's tank stats before he even buys them. Tristana still has over a K lead over the Jin, but you know, if Jin can continue to work with these team fights, he can eventually claw this lead back.
Yeah, definitely in this meta, right? It doesn't really matter if your ADC is far ahead, as long as you can stay in the game as this Jin has done with his W's, beautiful roots in that team fight to prevent the movement of the enemy team, and easy cleanup by the Mordekaiser and the Rek'Sai. And Tristana, he just can't do anything against his Mordekaiser and Rek'Sai. He might have to build something against that.
See Rek'Sai looking for something mid, whether it be countering a gank or trying to set up a gank. I believe the best option is countering a gank, because Vel'Koz wants to push out this wave and maybe back, or maybe try to roam. So he's just providing protection from the possible Nocturne R.
See Tristana maybe looking for something over in the bot lane, but looks like it just wants to farm, as both junglers in the mid lane here simply just farming turrets. We've hit a bit of a lull here as both teams are okay with going back to lane and simply farming CS.
Yeah. Even though we had a very hectic early game, it's kind of weird to call something a lull state when we have well over a kill a minute. But yeah, it just seems that each team is pretty content with farming out waves and ping-ponging. I can understand Mordekai's doing it. I'm going to channel a little bit of my inner LS here. When you have a rundown comp like Tristana and Thresh, you can force Morgana and Jin to walk up to you, which does allow you to get a lot of damage onto them and have that possibility of you running them down with Nocturne, but I fully understand why people like Mordekaiser are shoving in, because it's hard for Maokai to farm on these turrets. He keeps the pressure, he can move to do Rift Herald like what they're doing right now.
And that's an easy pickup for them, looking to get that first turret damage, because I don't think the Dragons might actually go here, as he does hit the E, moves on with the Indomitable Spirit, does get the tank, gets the shield, and he can't do anything except press R, doesn't even snare him on the turret, but Nocturne is moving to support, but can they actually stop this Herald push? I don't think so.
No, I believe they just have to give this turret. Their pressure has been matched by the fact that I'm not sure if it was a good trade or if they just eventually got pushed out of lane, but it looks like bot lane have the lane to themselves down in bot. So because of the damage that Tristana can output, she should be able to easily clear this turret. Now it looks like the Rift Herald is
might
actually
be
going
overstaying his welcome here if he does land the E, but doesn't. Shelly does get that second hit onto that secondary. That's a lot of damage, and this Mordekaiser might be free farming to the Nexus.
4. And he's certainly
Trade
threatening
turret
with those
come
E's.
down to Tristana in the bot lane though. See here.
He timed, Jin just timed his W wrong. He was waiting for the bounce of his Q to hit Tristana, and he hit the W before the Q bounce hit Tristana. But as you can see from him just building an Infinity Edge early instead of the normally rapid fire cannon into, sorry, not rapid fire cannon, Storm Razor when you have fleet footwork, he does a whole lot of damage with those Qs. Those Qs really, really can hurt.
See here in the mid lane, Lux has picked up that blue buff, so that poke is coming through with the poor Vel'Koz no blue buff, trying to do his best, but Lux just free casting spells here, clearing the wave with ease.
And yeah, as you said before, it kind of does look like it's into this low state of people being pretty happy with farming, which it does suit blue side a lot better, in my opinion. I feel that Nocturne, when he has his ultimate up, especially seeing he has a bit of a lead, he should really be trying to force the agenda. If they let the bot lane push in, Nocturne could come in with his ultimate, force pressure there, but it looks like he could possibly be in trouble.
It does get the Dark Binding and the Jin W and the knock up onto the Nocturne. That's an easy pickup for the blue side. They just keep on getting these picks. I don't know what's going on.
And up in top, we've got a possible fight down bot lane. Now, does
Tristana Wing can't actually hit it, but Thresh does get the death sentence hit, flays him backwards. Does other Tristana, can he
death run? Oh.
Indomitable Spirit, can he get the shoot up? No, Tristana does
can't.
get their shut down.
Very, very close though. I feel like if he used that a lot earlier in the fight, he could have probably killed him there. And,
we see here blue side picking up the trade, epic Minecraft dabbers, killing this turret as they would in the game of Minecraft. Easy pickup on that T2 secondaries.
Yep, and as you can see, with actually, I'm going to quickly chat about first of all with the Mordekaiser itemization, with the fact that he's gone Riley's Scepter first, and then he's going Leandri's Torment second. In my opinion, with Mordekaiser, Leandri's Torment is not a good item until you have Leandri's Torment. So Leandri's Torment, when completed, gives you and your abilities basically a burn of max health over time.
As we see here really quickly, Maokai stepping over too far, does ult try to get away. W's in, nothing doing.
There's no flash. I don't think you'll be able to get out.
It does flash to secure that kill, and they can't get any vision. Maokai overstepping his bounds too far, and they're easy Infernal pickup. We can see what Dragon this is. Lux almost Miracle Steal.
Very, very close. Yeah, so with going back to the Mordekaiser point before, the reason why you take Riley's Crystal Scepter is so that your passive will continuously, that area of effect damage, will continuously slow the enemy. So you have and your passive does maximum health percentage damage. So if you have that maximum health percentage damage, and then the Leandri's Torment percentage damage, them being nearly doubled on top of itself because you have the consistent slows. You do a lot more damage if you get the Leandri's Torment first. You have that burn, you'll be able to fight Mordekai's, you'll be able to fight Maokai, and you'll also be able to fight Squishies as well, and then you back it up with that Riley's Crystal Scepter when you get ahead from all the damage that you'll be doing, because you'll most likely be able to 1v1 almost anyone with just that one item power spike.
That's it, and that's why they're so strong nowadays. You know, you got the carry top laners. Back in Season 2, you were playing things like tanks couldn't deal any damage, but now, Riot Games, we've seen in the mid lane, the damage coming through, nothing doing as he has to R away the Rek'Sai, but that would have been a lot of damage chunks on the Tristana.
Yeah, I mean, while he did have R and he could try to force that really hard, the Thresh still was there, who also had exhaust up, so it would have been very hard to pull out that damage in time. Red side was looking to try to capitalize on Mordekaiser, but it's very hard to move into the fog of war with Mordekaiser, because if he ults one of you, at least one of you is going down, and you're trying to group on him to not make it a 1-for-1 trade. You're trying to make it a kill him and then use the rest of that pressure to go elsewhere. If he takes out one of you, you lose a lot of that pressure.
See here, Tristana gunning for that turret range. With the E, they should be able to take this with easy damage, but the Jhin is just free farming with the Morgana in the bot lane against this Thresh. They might be able to get this trade quite easily. As Nocturne looking for an R potentially onto this bot side lane. We can see what happens.
They'd almost be out of range now, seeing his range of his R at level 6 to level 10 is normally quite short. It normally jumps up in range once you get to level 11 and get that second skill point, your R. It's interesting though that he's gone a more defensive route of buying the Edge of Night first rather than the Dustblade, which would normally very much increase your damage, but Edge of Night, if someone has good return CC like the Rek'Sai knock-up, like the Vel'Koz E, it becomes very hard to actually get in if you don't have that sort of spell shield to keep you safe. So he's doubling up his spell shield to ensure that he can get that damage, so he's more working around team fights than he is working around trying to find Jhin alone and one-shot him, because Jhin always has that Morgana with him all the time.
That's it, and I don't think they can go for Pinks against this sort of team with Mordekaiser, Rek'Sai and all that. There's too much damage to get pumped out. We also have a Black Shield there by Morgana to stop any CC.
It was a very close encounter there with the Nocturne. He's quite lucky that they didn't turn the corner, but he may be in a little bit of trouble. Are they going to let him? He does go to spell shot, even if Morgana threw Q, yeah, he'd be fine. So they just let him go.
See Rek'Sai just saying hello to his old friend Maokai up in the top lane as an easy 30 gold there for clearing that ward.
Now the interesting part here is that now we have an Infernal Dragon, so I can definitely tell you that red team will benefit the most from an Infernal Dragon, mainly just because of Vel'Koz. Vel'Koz's damage with Infernal Dragon, if he gets that in his grasp, he will completely annihilate teams. While it's still very good on just both teams in general, Vel'Koz with Infernal is a very scary thing. Now might be something happening down bot here.
You can see here a small collapse, but not enough movement speed there for the people to collapse, as both teams really just trying to get vision. Tristana is going very deep, gets hit by the Jhin W, doesn't save him. Vel'Koz R comes in with damage, Rek'Sai does flash out, gets out. Morgana Cube, Lux binding misses. But
he had the Maokai teleport, but a little bit late, and he didn't really get a good angle to press his ultimate.
Gets W to get with the Jhin. This is power of Nocturne. Can they get the plan? Does get the stopwatch to save himself. As we see here, Mordekaiser does ult the Maokai, so nothing doing there. As the Lux trying to for some poke damage, but they can't do anything against this Mordekaiser and this Rek'Sai. They're just too tanky, and they're just in their backline all the time.
Yeah, and that gold difference between the Maokai and the Mordekaiser really shows in that fight. You've very much got that Mordekaiser. He's nearly hit that 2-item power spike, so that's him before his ridiculous power spike, and he can just run down everyone and anyone that he's fighting with. And Rek'Sai's done the right thing of giving over more kills now. He was 4 kills before, now he's 5. So he's been giving over those kills to Vel'Koz, to Jhin, making sure that the gold is being spread out. So when he comes into the later stage of the game, as you can see with the 2 cloth armors, that he can start building more tanky and just be a setup frontliner rather than just trying to be full damage, and if he gets killed, the rest of his team is stuffed.
And we can see here, Epic Minecraft Dabbers does have an awkward back timing here. Scuttle is free for the Titanic to take. We can see if they take this, get easy vision over the dragon, as it is coming up right now, Infernal, and they're not in a position to stop this.
Yeah, it just depends if they have enough damage out in time, and it seems like Titanic are actually paying respect because they weren't 100% sure. They didn't have vision on a lot of the reset, so they weren't sure where the enemy team was. I don't think they knew that a lot of them did that awkward back timing.
We see here, we might have another Clown Fiesta breakout as the Epic Minecraft Dabbers does look to fight for vision once again. Let's hope this Tristana doesn't overstay his welcome, get caught once again by the Jhin W, but we'll see.
It'll be very much a dance here. The red side does have the advantage of having the speed boost in the middle there, as you can see them just running around on that thing. They should really be trying to auto-attack the dragon and drag it up towards mid lane, seeing that the entirety of blue side is groping around bot side, but it seems like they're actually planning to push out mid lane and see if they can come back with a bit more pressure. However, seeing it's a normal dragon and not an elder dragon, blue side will still do it pretty quickly. Not the quickest though. Jhin is not a super fast AD carry at shredding things. She's not a Vayne or a Kai'Sa, so it'll be interesting to see how this dance plays out.
This dance is still continuing. Maybe a little of a slow ballad, not a tango that I'm used to seeing in NA solo queue. We see the Masteries come out with the DM, taunting the enemy, telling the Tristana, just W in, mate, just W in. As he does move forward, almost gets stunned, gets hit by the W of the Jin. Dark Binding does save that
Maokai,
Maokai.
very, very
Noxa
good
does
setup.
R in, doesn't get anyone. Easy Lux hits only 2 people, but the Vel'Koz with the huge damage coming down on the red side, but he can't do anything. Tristana in the backline does get the exhaust onto the Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai doesn't take any damage at all because of that exhaust as the cleanup crew comes in. What can Maokai do? Absolutely nothing. It was just the case of the ADCs not being able to get through these tanks.
Yep, my goodness, the power of Vel'Koz there, and that's him before having anything like an Infernal Soul. He absolutely wiped the floor with that ultimate, very, very well placed. And then Mordekaiser ultimate, using his ultimate onto Lux to stop the counter of the AoE ability power of red side, so they couldn't be an answer to what Vel'Koz was doing.
It is only 26 minutes into the game, so I'm not sure if they can actually take this inhibitor, but the death timer is really short. The red side almost coming in respawns, but they are going to go for it. We can see if they overstay their welcome here, as Nocturne is looking for something with the E onto the Mordekaiser. Does get the Tristana jump with the wrist straight into the Mordekaiser, but
That's
the Rek'Sai in the back end,
shutdown.
huge amounts of damage, trying to get the zone in the bottom with the Maokai on the Morgana and the Vel'Koz as the Lux R comes through. And they did overstay their welcome.
They sure did, and now that's 2 huge shutdowns onto the Tristana, and now she is 3,000 gold in front of the opposition AD carry. And Tristana having a considerable gold lead really does matter. As you can tell by, I've popped it up right here, you can see that Mordekaiser has quite the high gold lead, and so does Rek'Sai, but if Tristana's allowed to free hit and Mordekaiser doesn't get a good R opportunity onto her, it doesn't matter how much team the rest of your gold's got, Tristana can just 1v5 your team.
You can see here the Baron pickup, they are taking this down with so many kills because of that overstay, and this might be the case of Blue side overextending, trying to get an inhib, and they might end up losing much more than that because of this Baron power play.
Yeah, definitely. It's it definitely would have been the better choice to move in, get aggressive vision into their jungle, steal away jungle camps to limit the amount of gold that red side can get, and then try to force them to come to you in the Baron fight and use the Vel'Koz, use the Jhin, use the Morgana when they're all clumped up there, instead of fighting them out in that more open space in the middle of their base.
We will say though, even after all that fighting and all that shutdown and all that Tristana gold, that the gold difference is still very, very close. Both teams still slated to take this, but this interesting fight around the Infernal Soul that's going to happen in 3 minutes might be what is the kicker in the coffin.
And yeah, this obviously red team cannot let blue team get the Infernal Soul at all. Minecrafters with an Infernal Soul will just wipe any and all team fights, even in the unfavorable spot like they had over in the open space. Vel'Koz having that area of effect constant damage will just annihilate the teams.
And we can see here Tristana is very worried about this Mordekaiser, picking up the Quicksilver Sash and also having the Guardian Angel. Tristana knows he cannot deal damage while dead, and he knows he is the true AD carry for this team.
Which is good in the sense of the itemization, having that Guardian Angel and the QSS to keep him safe. But then the other problem is that it's stunted his growth a little bit, because Guardian Angel, obviously QSS doesn't have any AD, and Guardian Angel doesn't give a whole lot of AD. It very much stunts how much he's going to spike, so it keeps him alive, but then the question is, does he have enough damage to back that up, which I don't think he will have until he at least finishes his next Zeal item, which will probably be into a Phantom Dancer, which means it'll be very, very hard to 1v1 him.
That's right, as we see the Titanic slowly pushing with this Baron up in the top lane and the mid lane. Nocturne is randomly killing minions in the bot tower as Tristana tries to go in for the turrets, does get the death sentence, but is countered by the Morgana stopwatch, gets hit by the Lux R. That's easy burst damage.
Very, very well timed. Very well done by Titanic there. Layering the CC, timing everything correctly, and pressuring with this Tristana, because Tristana can absolutely melt towers. So, as long as
see here, the Mordekaiser does R the Maokai. Can he get this 1v1 as Jhin tries with the W as they do push into the mid lane? This 2v1 does get the Maokai as we look back towards mid lane as Tristana gets hit and chunked by Vel'Koz. Doesn't decide to go in though. This Baron is too strong. The minions and the GA on the Tristana means that he can't just kill him.
Yeah, and I think Maokai did very well to just keep extending out that fight further and further, and it's very hard, like, Rek'Sai could have almost pressed out there if Tristana didn't have that GA. But seeing that she had that GA, there was a complete... Rek'Sai just couldn't press out to get in on him. The champion just wouldn't be able to survive the rest of the 3. and wouldn't be able to wait out the time that Tristana would get up. And then probably the amount that Tristana of health that Tristana would have when she gets up, Rek'Sai wouldn't be able to finish it off without his R.
That's it. And we can see here red side just clearing vision towards the dragon, knowing that Inferno Soul is coming up in 30 seconds. Blue side immediately vying to take that, knowing that if they do get this Infernal Soul, this might be the kicker, this might be the damage that they need to take out this Tristana past the GAs. Rek'Sai looking.
They actually are missing this little bit of vision at the top of the Dragon Pit. They have not sweeped it out yet. Mordekaiser's pressed his and they've had aggressive vision, but they still have a bit of vision on this, which will allow Lux, will have her ultimate up soon, to very much pressure this.
That's right, and no pink wards for the blue side as the teleport comes in for the Maokai. They need to stop this as the Vel'Koz easy pick up on Tristana as he W's in, immediately gets killed. Lux tries with a Miracle R, can't get through. Blue side does easily pick up the Rek'Sai, but the Maokai coming in onto the back line does prevent the 280 carries, but the two tanks out in the back. Lux can't do anything. Mordekaiser easy W, Indomitable Spirit means he takes no damage as the Rek'Sai pushing on the Lux. Can he get anything? Nothing doing, can't watch anything. But we
still alive, he's now only just dying. And to be very honest, with that pickup, it's almost, I would almost say it's GG there. The gold lead onto that Rek'Sai and onto that Mordekaiser just means that having that Infernal Dragon means they do so much damage to team fights. A single Mountain Dragon will not help the Titanic at all. As you can see, some of the trash talk going on in the old chat there.
They are getting dabbed on. Epic Minecraft dab as they're pushing in with the two tanks protecting their 180 carry, but they aren't going to end it just of yet, respecting the death timers here, wanting to close this out with finality.
Yep, so their move here should be, I think that's what Mordekai's trying to do, is to try to limit, oh no he's not, but what they should be doing is she should be rotating out through the enemy's jungle and taking as much gold as possible from the enemy, as you can see Rek'Sai doing up there. Just taking away gold, taking away camps, so it just means that it limits the amount that Nocturne can normally take, because normally laners will want the lane minions. So if you limit the amount of things that Nocturne can farm, it means that he can't ever get to a spot where he'll have enough damage to be able to kill any one of your characters.
That's it, and as we see the supers auto pushing in onto the mid lane, we do have Baron spawning in 1 minute's time. They might be going for that, potentially getting a pick. As we've seen in the past, these Jhin Ws have been really great, picking the Tristana, I can't do anything, and then Lux just looking and zoned by the Mordekaiser.
Yeah, it's very hard currently for the Titanic to step up. Tristana now at around about level 14, her range will get quite large, especially with the rapid fire cannon on top. She can keep a lot of them at range and can really burst people down, so it's quite hard to push into her when she's not getting pushed onto like that.
But we see here Rek'Sai does get a Dark Binding by the Morgana. They can easily pick up, but the Nocturne does R in, does try to get Fear. Tristana in the background, nothing, no one's attacking him, but he does use the QSS, does get killed by the J. Thresh Destins can't even save him. Flashes that.
Oh, what a flash.
But does get the Q. Can Mordekaiser 1v3? I think he can, he's just too strong. The Leandre's with the Rylai sticking. See the exhaust sticking through.
And Jhin killed Nocturne in the back there as well.
And this might be it, but they seem to be just clearing the bot side jungle. Looking to farm up and just extending that gold lead up to 3k now.
It is kind of hard to judge whether they could push him in or not, just because of Lux and her ultimate and how she can just melt waves. It is quite hard, so it's a smart idea to try to get pressure onto all of the lanes, try to get them down to their inhibitors, because if you can destroy each of their inhibitors, obviously you get triple inhibitors, and then double supers will spawn in every single wave. And teams without an absolute crapload of wave clear with like a Severe or something just cannot handle that sort of minion pressure.
And we do see their easy bot lane pick up as they do reset, get those buys, get those items, full item builds, 150 gold bounty on them, 350 on Rek'Sai, and 500 on the Jhin. Man, he has come back. This Tristana was smurfing on this guy, but this Jhin had the final laugh.
Yep, and it just, because a lot of these fights have been happening, as you've actually been seeing, Jin's kind of been sneakily farming off to the side when he hasn't been in the middle of them, so he's been making sure that he picks up enough gold and picks up enough farm to try to get himself back into the game. And as you can see by the gold differences, things are starting to slowly equalize except for top lane and jungle. Those are the main ones that are very much in in blue side's favor for the Minecraft dabbers.
I can see here slowly just going along the river, trying to fight for the vision, looking for the Baron picks, looking for the Elder Drake picks up in 2 minutes as they're sweeping. the top side jungle. Red team having to hold hands in the mid lane, afraid of one of them being picked.
Yeah, it is a very, very tough situation to be in with the red side. And also when Elder Dragon spawns, it's very hard to decide which one you want to go contest, because Elder
And
Dragon...
the Vel'Koz easy pick up with the Q onto the Tristana, into the ult, huge damage on the Fresh. Jhin just in the back, R'ing slow amount of damage, but Vel'Koz does almost get picked up by the Lux, does hit it. Maokai can't do anything as the Lux Binding misses the Rek'Sai straight into the back line, but the Nocturne tries to peel with the stopwatch, stopping the Lux kill, but the Mordekaiser with the double, is that a triple? It's an ace by the epic Minecraft dabbers, completely dabbing on them.
That is a big, big boy. That is a big Mordekaiser, spamming out his mastery there. And to there, pushing into the base, and that will just be the end of the game. There's nothing that...
We have a surrender right there by the Titanic. Unfortunately, couldn't pick up that first win. As we move into the post-game screen, let's see and let's have a breakdown of what happened that game.
Sweet. So let me just jump over to the post-game here. Cool. So, most important thing to go to first, the damage numbers. As you can see, Vel'Koz and Mordekaiser, absolutely huge with the amount of damage they were doing. They were fighting in corridors, Vel'Koz was able to get R's out continuously. Mordekaiser, whether it be 1v1ing or 1v4ing, was just doing so much damage. It was very, very fun to watch.
And that's it. We can see both the ADCs, with the same amount of small amount of damage. Zara trying with the burst games, but the Jhin, it was just the sustained damage out in the backside, while his tanks were just dealing with that Liandry's burn right onto the tanks of the enemy team that just caused every team fight to fall over.
Another thing I'm quite interested in actually is the vision score of each team, because yes, as I thought, the Minecrafters support was very, very good with the vision control. There was a lot of times, apart from some sneaky wards here and there was a lot of times where the Titanic couldn't get that forward vision in.
And I think that's it as we move into the second round. Are the second teams prepared to play? I think we have about 9 more minutes until they are set up.
We do. We might just take a quick 5-minute break and then we'll come back to quickly chat about the teams and then move into the second game. And welcome back to the second game of the day and the last game of the day. We're currently looking at Tyler2 up against Triumph. I'll let my co-cast quickly take it away while I just sort the invites.
Cheers, thanks, Daedric. So as we saw in the previous game, there were a lot of low elo players, but this game you're in for a treat because I was trying to sort out and analyze what I was going to talk about in this pre-champ select, but it turns out that 8 out of the 10 players of this game are unranked. So we're going to see some really crazy things going into this game as I go through Tyler2 there in the top lane. We have Asian Blade 97, the unranked, but he does have a Shen 60% win rate and Shyvana 100% win rate in normals. So a lot of that crazy season 2 picks right there. Out in the jungle, we have ITT 130, once again unranked, but he does have a J4 and a Maud pocket pick. Nothing else can be said because he does play a lot of ARAM and TFT, so unsure what he is going to go through. We might see some weird picks up there in the jungle. Over in the mid lane for Tyler2, we have Ethan Gatch, 105, Silver 2 with the mid Katarina strong powerhouse, but he actually does have a Tristana, 100% win rate. This might be the abuse of that Tristana that we talked about in the last game of that mid laner fighting against those Azirs. He does have a Vega sitting at the 100% win rate with 12 average KDA and declared 100% as well. So this mid laner Ethan Gatch might be the one to look out for this Tyler2 team.
So apologies, I'm just going to sort something on Discord, so I'm just going to chuck away your video, but you'll still be able to chat. Sorry about that.
Too easy. As we see here over in Tyler2 with the ADC, we have Hippo Bot pulling out quite a few ADCs that are in the meta. We have Misfortune, Kate, Ezreal, Lucian. He hasn't played ranked, but a lot of these meta picks coming through, so we'll see maybe a standard bot lane coming out of this Tyler2 team. The support, Rune and Gorn, unranked, Braum, Soraka, Nami, Leona. We're looking at the tankiness in Braum, the sustain the Soraka, the Nami Enchantress, and the Leona engaged. So a lot of options here for this Tyler2 team. We might see something else rather than the constant engages and the picks that we saw last game as a result of this. And finally, the sub as well. I'm not sure if Gradius is actually playing today, but they do have a sub. So Tyler2 showcasing that they might be a professional team, you know, actually having a sub with the Lux brand Scion with no ranks. But maybe he'll sub in mid-game. Maybe he's in one of their houses and they're doing a LAN party for this. Who knows? But remember to always stay 1.5 meters away. It is COVID-19, of course.
That is very true. We're just sorting out the last of the teams. I believe we've got 1 or 2 people more to sort out.
Too easy as we go into the second team, which is Triumph, which is the lowest seed in the UWAnime tournament. But we can see if they can pull up an upset today. We can see the top is Sasuke. He's unranked. He plays Lee Sins and GP in ARAM and Yasuo as well. Doesn't really play a lot of normal league, so we can see if we can pull out some of that space-time dojutsu or Rinnegan to beat the enemy team into submission. See the jungle Kaiolus. He's actually a support main in ranked, plays a lot of ranked in support, but is in the jungle today for Team Triumph. Sejuani with the 67% win rate, 3.5 KDA, and the Warwick with the 50% win rate as well. So we might get a lot of team fighting around with the team. That Sejuani pick is very strong. Riot Games did announce Sejuani as the new TFT expansion champion coming through. So he may get a pocket buff that we may not see in the game as well. As we see here in the mid laner, Spell Jinxer is currently unranked. Does play a bit of LeBlanc and has trolled in ARAM by purchasing 6 daggers when his team starts losing. So we can see if he does do that this game, but hopefully we don't see any of that trolling. We do see that LeBlanc pick, hopefully. As we can see, the ADC Tuppy Gold 4. Now this ADC I want to talk about a bit because Tuppy Gold 4 plays a lot of Vayne 48%, Kate 43%, Kai'Sa 32%. Now you might think that these win rates are bad, but having played ADC in this meta, let me tell you, we can't do anything against these Mordekaisers and these Rek'Sais we saw last game. You know what I'm saying? So this poor guy has played hundreds of games in ranked, hard stuck Gold 4, but this is because Riot Games won't patch the game. So we'll have to see if we can pull out the win in this one against that Tyler2 team. And as support, we have Fatality, and I could not find this person playing any League of Legends on OCE.op.gg. He might have thought that this was a Mortal Kombat tournament instead, and when we invited him to League of Legends, he was like, WTF is this? But we'll see if he does pull out the Fatalities against this Tyler2 team. As looking back at the custom game lobby, we are waiting on one more person to go through. Hopefully we do get started soon.
Yep, we've got confirmed that the last member of Blue Side is coming in. You just have to bear with me when we jump into Chamber Select. I'm just going to quickly change the overlay over to the next one.
Too easy, as we see Tuppy commenting the enemy team saying that good, and everyone's just saying that I just play TFT. As once again we see Asian Blade 97 Diamond 4 TFT, the god, pulling in that auto chess plays. We'll see if he transfers to the league.
And it looks like we've got the last one in. Interesting club tag.
We do have Sasuke joining. We may need to censor that contact. Please, Twitch, do not ban this stream. We are PG-13. And there we go. He does change it over for us. So thank you very much, Sasuke. No space-time dojutsu for you being banned mid-game for that.
Yeah, I'd much rather not get the broadcast banned. HHS, how long has the stream been going for? Let me double check. I've got it up here. It has been going for 1 hour and 23 minutes. So I believe yep, we are ready. We're just confirming with everyone else that we are ready. Hard stuff.
See, question marks coming in from Fatality. Unsure if that's where he thinks there's actually more about and is where the character selects. Hopefully we do get sorted soon.
Sweet, it seems like we're almost just about to jump out, and we are now into Champion Select.
As you can see here, Kaios is the captain for his team. See what he does ban out, but really hard to ban. Once again, as I said, both teams, if you look at their OCE.op.gg, not playing a lot of normal leagues, so does pick up the Katarina for that Ethan Gatch. You can see the Vayne ban over. Looks like he's trying to ban out Tuppy. See if he does try to pocket ban the Kate and Kaiser for the Tuppy, but the J4 ban does come out as well. As we see here, a Varus ban. So Varus was actually a 55% win rate for Tuppy in ranked solo queue this season. Gold. Really strong pick, especially in this meta as well. It's got the slows, got the easy R's, and we saw how the power of the compositions that rely on their picks to get those things, and then the tanks just running in to make sure the ADC doesn't pick up anything as well.
Yeah, but in the same sense, that it opens up all the other people on the rest of the teams, so it makes it quite easy for the other team for Triumph over there to have more flexibility with their picks. So we've got a jungle ban coming in actually there, so we've got basically 3 junglers banned, 2 AD carries, and 1 mid laner. So it'll be interesting to see what they use their blue first pick for, if they want to pick up a strong jungle, or I think that'll be the support pick.
It is the tried and true Nautilus. Nautilus, of course, the champion that we'll all give him for free as a result of the server up, and the statue being dropped down in Great Barrier Reef. Hopefully that hasn't decayed and caused any damage.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was playing since back in the day when Nautilus was a jungle main character, not a support main character. He went to support because his jungle got nerfed, really. As you see, the Shen and the Volibear coming out, a very tanky duo.
We can definitely see here Tyler2 learning from the last game, learning that you just pick tanks and you just run it down mid, and then they can't do anything, as we see Spelljinxer with the Irie pick.
So it'll be very interesting to see, and the Warwick pick, so we're very much fighting tanks v tanks, and Ahri can navigate these team fights against these tanks quite well with her 3 dashes and whatnot.
We can see here the forever scaling Kassadin being picked by Ethan Gatch 105 into the mid lane. Kassadin, of course, was the one that prevented me from going into Plat Fart 4 due to going 14-0, getting a quadra kill, and then I tilted all the way back down to gold 4, so the solo queue hero Kassadin being picked over by the Tyler2 team.
And a top lane ban coming in. Darius is quite heavily used in Shen, seeing that Shen's main defensive measure, his W, does not block Darius's main trading tool, which is his Q. So it's quite a handy pickup, and also when a Darius gets ahead and there's a more tanky team, he'll just shred through everything. You really need super hard CC plus like a Vayne to shut down a really, really ahead Darius.
I'm really excited to see what the bot lane is going to be for both of these teams. Both teams leaving this up to last. Except for Tuppy, the gold 4 is probably the strongest person on this Triumph lineup, with the Kaisers still left behind, the Kate still up for picks as well, and the MF with a 3.21 average KDA too. So some strong ADCs still left in the mix for Tyler2.
Yeah, and it will be quite interesting to see if Red side will open with an 80 carry and then pick a support to counter it, if they want to open with a support and leave the 80 carry until more of a counter pick. So it'll be quite interesting to see how that all works. And Ivan ban, surprisingly.
The troll.
I believe that was a support ban in quotation marks. So I believe it was a we've run out of bans and we're not sure what to do. So have Ivan, or a you can have your main misfortune and good luck.
That's it, as Tuppy does have the counter pick into this misfortune with the 55% win rate on this current live patch, but Tuppy would have dealt with a lot of this in gold elo. We can see what he picks up with. Does get the Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa was recently buffed. What were the changes, Daedric? Do you remember?
The changes were, so her W scales a little bit less, but when you upgrade it, when you hit it, it does a little bit more, and it reduces the cooldown by quite a bit. So instead of it being 50, it was 70, and it does less base but scales more, I think is the way they changed it. So it's very much based around, instead of just hitting a 2-item power spike and trying to rush off that, it goes to a 3-item power spike.
As we see here, Sasuke hovering the Teemo, but does pick up that Kel for that team fight potential and the slows.
And very much protecting around the Kai'Sa as well.
So yeah, Braum being hovered by the support pick, protecting his ADC Misfortune. Really strong against this team comp, actually, with the Irie as well.
It sure will be. So it'll be very interesting to see how these different lanes play out. Kai'Sa, Nautilus, and Misfortune Braum are going to be very, very scrappy. There's going to be a whole lot of hard trading. There's going to be, like, Braum, if Braum can get auto attacks and Qs onto Kai'Sa, and Nautilus can't chase down Misfortune easily, Kai'Sa will just evaporate in the early game, because normally Nautilus will take Aftershock over Guardian, whereas Braum will normally take Guardian. So normally Braum has a lot more protection, but Nautilus has more of that CC, and if he gets on top of Misfortune, unless if Braum can jump in the way, there's not a whole lot that she can do.
That's it, as we're slowly loading into this game. We'll see how this one played out, but as we saw last game, are in the lead in the early game, getting that cut with the Tristana, 300 gold difference as well. It doesn't really matter if your team cannot play around that mid game. Those objectives were just taking one after the other. So see how these teams both play that out.
And so as we wait for our 3-minute spectator delay to make sure that no one is ghosting each other, I also want to chat about top lane. So Kayle is obviously very weak early, is melee until level 6, finds it very hard to confirm CS. And while Shen probably won't be able to handle her too easily post 6, the main things to note is that Shen can punish her very, very easily early, seeing that she has to go into melee range. If Shen's level 3 or level 2, he can use his E to close down the gap and really take a good trade with her. And then the other thing is, when Shen's using his ultimate, Kayle doesn't have any hard CC to stop him. She can't be a Maokai and flash W him and stop him from teleporting. There is no way that Kayle can stop him other than do a bit of damage to him. So
that's it, and as we go into this, I'm really worried about this Kassadin. This Kassadin does scale, and once he gets tanky enough, there's nothing really that they can do. Kai'Sa not really pumping out the damage that she used to.
No, the main problem that Kassadin will face will most likely be that Warwick and Nautilus. The main bane of Kassadin will be that CC, so if he can dodge that CC, if he can get his Volley Bear and his Shen to run in first and soak up all that, especially if Kai'Sa gets a Braum passive stack onto her, she will evaporate. She will not be able to have any counterplay. In my opinion, while you've got Triumph as a higher seeded team, I personally do think that Tyler2 won the draft.
That's it, and they do have that global presence from the Shen, with his R being able to protect the Misfortune, the Braum to protect him as well, the Scaling Caster, and the Volibear simply running against the Kai'Sa. She can kill her Instinct away, but I'm not sure if she can continue to run away with the Caster and simply pressing R and having enough mana with the Archangel's Staff as an easy early buy.
Yep, yep.
As we see here, the Irie and the Warwick, a lot of pick potential here with the Warwick R's and the Irie Charm, and the Noddle is just cleaning it up. So we might see something pretty cool out of this Kai'Sa team. As we load in with 45 seconds left, our viewers, don't worry, we will have a Clown Fiesta, we will have trouble following the fights, but that is because this is a fun game with UWAnime Tournament Game 2 starting soon with 30 seconds left.
Now, I've just realized that my overlay for this game has actually corrupted, so I'm quickly just creating the new one. I have templates, so it won't take me too long. But it was Tyler2 on the red and Triumph on the blue side. And we will save that.
And for all of our colorblind players, that was Tyler2 on the slightly darker shade of black and Triumph on the lighter shade of black.
Sweet, that's just in time. Would you look at that?
As we see here, we're finally going to the loading screen, so we can finally see what runes they pick. Are we going to see some random we've never seen before, like Omnistone? Maybe not this time.
Sweet, now we're just loading in. I'm just checking that the...
Hopefully it is all good, and as Daedric does fix that overlay, we will once again talk to this game sponsored by Riot Games and Riot Points. As we see Riot Kel being picked up, the skin game is going strong for this Tuppy team, the Triumph team, with the KDA Kai'Sa. Not quite Prestige Edition, but almost there. As we do see Press the Attack picked up by both AD carries, neither of the ADCs wanting to deal with any of the tanks for the enemy team, with the Warwick as well picking up Press the Attack. But the Pulsefire Shen with the Grasp of the Undying should be able to just stay in lane with nothing doing from the Kayle.
It's very interesting that Kayle actually took Press the Attack. Normally Kales, when they're in heavily bullying lanes, will actually take Fleet Footwork for the sustain. So basically it's her saying that she's very confident with how the lane will pan out and how they'll go. So now we're just in the grey screen here. I'm just going to take the time to rearrange everyone. And so I'm going to pause at 5 seconds.
Roger that. I'm at 6 seconds.
So I'll get 6. Cool. Okay. 3, 2, 1, and go.
Down 7, 8.
9, 10. I think I'm just going to pause and start. I think I'm around the same as you now. And
Cool.
Ari starting out the game by misspelling good luck, have fun. I like it.
Good luck, fun, have. Pulling in the Yoda strat, showing that she does Force, has learnt it from the Star Guardian unit. As we see, Warwick is looking through. No invades going on, but Volibear is starting to push into the enemy blue lane jungle, but just simply places a ward, nothing doing there.
Yep, personally I think, so with red side and placing that early ward, I do prefer to stay around the bush that Shen is just sitting in right now, and you wait until about 50 seconds in, you hit recall, just before you recall you place the ward, and then you back, and then when you back you switch to your sweeper, and by the time you've completed your first camp you have the sweeper back up to either sweep when you walk into the next part of your jungle or whatever, and it makes sure that the Warwick, who has a stronger early game than this Volibear, can't invade him as easily. So he'll have vision, he'll know if Warwick started blue and is running to his red, and he can split the jungle.
Do have comments from the chat that the cameras aren't on for this game. We might get that fixed, but we'll see.
My apologies, I just got to toggle it on at the start of every single thing, but now it should be working.
Too easy with the caster APM from the Daedric Zeus as we start the game with the Irie in the lanes. Already starting to try to push Castellan in, but nothing doing as everyone's just starting the bot side again. No real crazy jungle pathing here.
Yep, and Warwick's actually been spotted out with his path onto the Raptors here, so they'll know what he's doing. They'll be able to tell if he's going down to his bot side to try to force a bot side gank, if he's moving to his blue. So it'll actually be pretty good, seeing that Warwick very much relies on trying to get a very strong level 3 gank off. It'll be very hard for him to play around that. As you can see, Shen and Kale are trading now. Shen trying to take the root of the trades, and then jumping back into the bush, which is a very smart tactic. Basically just easily drops minion aggro, so you can auto-attack and then step back in the bush, and then you don't take as much.
You can see here in the bottom lane, Kai'Sa does end up pushing the way with it. Kathy and Rain, those 2 extra bullets coming in once she evolves, as they do get the level 2 before they do, looking to push that in, trying to get some plates potentially.
However, I'd almost say that they've pushed a little bit too hard. I feel like Kai'Sa could have probably tried to stack up the wave and then have a minion advantage just outside the enemy bot tower, just so they could basically walk forward and pressure the level disparity a lot more easier, instead of crashing into the tower and then it neutralizing a little bit further out. As Volibear may be looking for something here. Now if he backed in bot sweeper, you better tell that he was on a ward here, but I think blue side bot lane is kind of making obvious that they do have vision.
That's it, as he can't do anything with that gank, so simply decides to back with the Warwick on 50% HP, clearing the Frog, but nothing doing, as basically everyone's farming, quite content with farming as I fix my scoreboard overlay, but...
I just toggled the Fog of War. I think Volibear backed only just out of vision, so I think they may not know that he's left, so it may depend on what the blue bot lane wants to do here. As we can see, actually Kale has pushed in Shen. I think Shen may have taken too many early trades or not, but he'll still survive in lane. He can very obviously use his TP, seeing at level 6 he has his own ally TP, so it won't be too bad from him to drop lane state a little bit. But if he can continue to claw back and try to use his jungler with him, especially when the Kale's in such a vulnerable spot and hasn't warded properly defensively, as bot lane might
That's
be
it,
something.
but he does heal with the Grasp of the Undying, so he is back bot lane. The MF did push with the love taps, but they are getting the lane frozen and they're too scared of this hiding into that bottom bush. Can't do anything and just losing free experience here as the Kai'Sa's laughing to the bank, getting up that small CS lead, 24 CS to 9, and it's 4 minutes into this game.
Yeah, and while I did criticize the hard shove, now that I realize that that's what they're trying to do, they were trying to push it, make it bounce back, which makes a whole lot of sense.
As you see here, the hook onto the MF, but the Warwick looking in, trying to get the gang, and they can't do anything. Catherine Rain doesn't do that much, but a lot of chunks damage onto the MF, having to use the pots, only having biscuits left. They are hard pushing, and they might decide to push this in, but they're simply freezing, denying that experience from the MF.
Yeah, and it's a very, very sad lane set. Possibly up top there. Kale very, very low, but only just gets out alive. I think Shen may have flashed as well, and Kale pushing the agenda further by spamming Laugh and lane. It was probably the right idea from Volibear, but he probably should have tried to push that a lot earlier, as now Warwick is invading into the jungle, putting pressure on that bot side, taking away experience from Volibear, and they may even decide to set up a diet. No, okay, never mind. Warwick is backing away. That is entirely fair, though. It's quite
That's
hard.
it, but he does land the hook onto the Nautilus, get some damage. Kathy and Rain coming in with damage. Chunk down to 50%. The Shen deciding to leave after pushing that into the Cal. Cal is okay on his turret. Does have that heal, of course, as the Nautilus and the Kai'Sa pushing in. Getting the Kathy and Rain. Does get the hook onto the Braum. Can they get this? Hits the Void Seeker, but can't actually get the kill.
Does force out the heal out of Misfortune though, even though it's not the longest cooldown. It certainly is a cooldown that makes it quite hard for Misfortune to pressure things. A very nice ward onto Dragon there by a Kassadin. It's very smart from him, seeing that Warwicks can do Dragon quite early.
Definitely a lot of prio being taken over by this blue side team to the bot lane, which may pay dividends as they start to go Dragon, but this CS differential from both sides, reminded that there are no kills currently, is almost a 500 gold difference.
Yeah, and I'm actually not too sure which team benefits the most from this more no-kill farm out, because unfortunately Misfortune is getting a lot of farm denied from her, but I mean, Kassadin's always more than happy just to take this. Volibear getting a little bit of time to farm. He can pressure Vision as he's doing right now. He can slowly build up tankiness. But then, of course, Kale and Kai'Sa getting farm is also quite dangerous.
Volibear is designed to clear out some of that vision around the bot side. Just saying hello, just try to go.
Now,
as he does look for something into the mid lane, does Q in onto the Irie. Kassadin immediately goes in with the R and the E, as Irie just gets out with the W. Easy heals on true damage there. Doesn't even need to use Charm there or Flash.
Now,
Well,
apologies
he
about
does use flash, sorry.
apologies about the. I've seen chat that it's buffering a bit. I've tried to extend the session with my with UniConnect. I'm currently at Uni Hall using UniConnect. So normally UniConnect's pretty good, but sometimes it just jumps off. So just give it a little bit. It should stabilize soon.
Definitely a problem with the COVID-19. Everyone is working from home in quotation marks, but we all know they're actually playing League of Legends and what Classic.
Yep. Streaming sites definitely are using quite a bit of the already poor Australian bandwidth, so sometimes this will happen. If it does improve sometime soon, please let me know, and if it stays really, really bad, I can't do much about it, but please do keep updating me.
We'll let you guys know that we will also have VODs uploaded at a later date, so if you miss any of these action issues, just stay tuned and we will post links to the VODs at a later date. As we see here, the Volibear is killing the vision around the dragon, respecting the fact that Warwick can actually solo this at level 4 with quite ease.
Yeah.
Warwick just giving that flower love tap, getting the vision, knowing Volibear backed.
It's very much a dance of both junglers being able to force these sort of things to aggressively play around it. Both lanes are very volatile around top and, sorry, not top, mid and bot. So it's quite hard for them to go out on a limb and just try to do the dragon. So now it's in a dance of who will commit to it first, and almost a sense of whoever commits to it first kind of loses.
And we are seeing that farm by this Kai'Sa in the bot lane, 60 CS to 37, again extending that lead, as every other lane is relatively first by the Kassadin. And just vision coming down towards that dragon, the Volibear placing that control ward down. Warg easily clearing that. A little bit of a love tap here. Out in the bot lane, Misfortune just letting Kai'Sa know, hey, I can actually deal a bit of damage.
But then he held right back up with the... I'm actually not sure what the new support items are called. I keep on forgetting their names. I'm very used to the old ones. With the Relic Shield. Oh, I see. What's the new ones? The Steel Shoulder Guards. That's the other ones. The ones that Braum have.
Hashtag RIP for the old school Heart of Gold and Philosopher's Stone. Never forget the
and
passive gold.
Feral Flare meta. Goodness. Those are the days.
Yeah, those were the days where I almost wanted to neck myself because Master Yi would just kill me over and over. As the blue side does go for the easy dragon pickup, Kai'Sa does shred these with her full stacks of her passive, and Volibear can't do anything, but trying to go for the steal with the Kassadin. As we see the Fears in and they get the easy pickup onto him, but the dragon secured by the wall because we have a flash over the wall by the Shen. Can they get any more other pickups? But Irie is there to get the charms in case anything happens, and Kale is just constantly picking up plates into this top lane.
And we are looking at a Mountain Soul next, and a Mountain Dragon. So the possibility is either an Infernal Soul or a Cloud Soul. An Infernal Soul would be amazing for both teams, seeing both teams have quite a bit of damage, especially quite heavily concentrated onto two characters. But a Cloud Soul will be interesting because I have not seen a Kassadin with Cloud Soul before, and I am terrified of that idea, that he can just get those. Obviously it has a cooldown. I think it's about 10 seconds in between each Cloud Soul proc, but because he can ult so often, actually to fight up in top lane, Shen may be able to kill Kale here. However, Shen is flashless and Kale does still have flash, so he just takes that trade, he tries to deny Kale the farm, and forces her to recall, so she may actually have to use a TP here as well, which will match his TP.
Small wins here for the Kale, you know, surviving that kill potential from the Shen, and that 94 CS pick that up. So we have the Kai'Sa, the bot lane and the top lane for the blue side once again. And the red side there, just the Kassadin in the mid lane might become a problem if he gets too far ahead, but for now it's just the top lane and bot lane with carry potentials on the blue side.
And as you can tell, until just recently I just had to scroll through the jungle, the river, and it just showed that the entirety of the river was just completely dark. It's very obvious why these teams are not pushing forward and playing too aggressively, because they just don't have the vision. However, Warwick seems to possibly be trying something here.
Does step over.
Warwick
Can he
2
land
seconds off
the
our
fear? Yes, he does, but blocks most of the damage as the Kale comes through with the CC. Warwick does hit it as well, but not enough damage. That Shen is so tanky, just at level 9 with almost no items there.
That Bramble Vest really, really damaging Warwick, seeing Warwick keeps alive with all the auto attacks and the Qs, and can auto attack very, very fast when the target gets low, but then it just kind of comes back onto him, and he can't heal as much from it. As we see a little bit of trading in the mid lane. Ari is shoving in Kassadin, trying to keep lane pressure. The reason why she's doing this a whole lot is to ensure that Kassadin can't get the lane lead and keep shoving. Because if Kassadin gets the lane lead and shoves out the lane, it means he can rotate to body, he can rotate to top, he can get that pressure around the map. And as you can see here, Warwick has to be very careful what's going on. However, Shen has no R, so they have to be very careful about how much they ever commit to this.
Let's see if there is a fight breaking out towards the scuttle as Volibear and Kassadin still juggling that aggro. Get them down, but no vision control there. As we have the Ari flash charm onto the Volibear, overextended, does try to Kassadin. We can see here the flash from the Kassadin. The Ari continues to follow with that. Kassadin does get away though, and this will be an easy scuttle from the blue side.
Yeah, it was unfortunate that neither lane had the farm advantage, neither lane had the lane priority. So basically, the blue side was able to rotate just as quickly as the red side. So unfortunately, while it was probably a decent setup, it ended up not being the best outcome.
That's it, and we see here in the bot lane, Kai'Sa chunking them with that Void Seeker. Be interested to find out what that path is. If she does go AP, that W does hit a metric F-ton.
But if she went the ability power route, it would kind of stunt the rest of her team because it would allow a lot of magic resist to be powered up on the tanks on red sides on Tyler2's team, which for them would mean you've got Kayle does mostly magic, but there's also a lot of true and a lot of physical, but mainly magic. You've got Warwick doing magic damage with his Q, which is his main damage output. You've got Ari doing all magic, and then if Kai'Sa had magic damage on top of it, it would mean that the itemization could really swing against their favor.
That's it, and we see here just in the mid lane, the Kassadin slowly extending, chunking out so she does the back and being able to roam up topwards. There is a vision ward here. Let's see if Kayle does see that. Is pushing in, getting plates onto the Shen, but Shen knows that Kassadin is there. Is spotted by the ward though, does go back to mid lane.
I have just buffered a little bit, if you wouldn't mind pausing. I'm just at 14, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6, I've resumed.
Sweet.
8.
Thank you.
9.
Yep, cool. We're on the same time. Looks like
too easy as the Kassadin does go onto the Ari, misses the charm, Riftwalk does get him go, Volibear tries to kill me, flashes, gets it, he couldn't get the ult though, not enough damage in Ari, too many R charges. As in the bottom lane we see here the Nautilus of the Kassadin pushes in with the killer instinct onto the back line, MF nothing doing, can't do anything, not even the Unbreakable can save her.
And we just went from a nothing game to all of a sudden 3 fights in 3 lanes. Here we go. Very much. The explosion
I was almost getting bored there, sitting in my seat, but crack out the popcorn.
Kassadin is looking at top though.
As we see
Kayle
here,
was low from a 1v1 before, but look at these minion
damage. The Kayle with the Divine Judgment does pick up that play. Blue side, too much going on for them with the Scully. Might be able to get the T2, but Volibear there is there to support. Obviously, we look at the 3 kills, triple kill, 500 gold bounty, 140 CS to 86 for the Kayle versus
and also a 2.3k gold lead up on the Shen. So, yeah, the Kayle is pretty big. The Kassadin should have waited another couple of seconds just to try to get that, let the minions hit the tower. Problem is he came in just before they were hitting the tower, and they all turned and started attacking him, so he would have been able to win that 1v1 if it wasn't for all those minions just turning around and annihilating them. So I don't think Volibear can do anything here. It'll be very interesting to see what's the next dragon. It'll be a Cloud Soul, which is interesting. It's not as strong as all the other ones. A lot of people see it as the weakest one. However, in certain team comps, it is very, very strong. I personally think Kayle and Kai'Sa are 2 people that utilize it very, very well. But then there's people like Nautilus that won't as much, because Nautilus will normally run down the person that he ults with his Q, so he doesn't really have to worry about it. The problem now is that they don't have a lot of defensive vision on their bot side, so bot has to be forced to come into mid, and they try to rotate their Kassadin out to bot side, and there's a bunch of minions dying on bot side. So Kassadin's just slowly losing gold, which is the last thing you want on the main scaling person on your team.
That's it, and Kayle is just going back to the top, you know, she knows she's far ahead of Shen, she could probably push her the Nexus without any tester, knowingly that she'd 1v1 the ease, so here we might just see a split push strategy here as the Kai'Sa does use the mastery points, baiting, trying to bait that red side team as the Volibear does get hooked with the Naught Q, does need to flash away, bites off more than can do. Cathy and Rain can't do anything against that Unbreakable by the Braum.
And the
And
Cloud
I
Dragon
think
speed
Blake
up zone just helping him out there even more.
does get the hook, re-engage, does get the bullet time onto the MF. Warwick immediately jumps in, does suppress the wrong target, but it doesn't really matter. MF can't do it. The flash charm onto the MF.
Oh.
She's dead. Shen trying to run for his life, but taunts back into the 5-man. This is not a recipe for success, as easily picked up by Tuppy onto the blue side.
And it was very unfortunate. He chose a target to ultimate towards, which I believe was the Braum. But the Braum died so quickly that he couldn't even get into the fight. So he was trying to walk over. His ult was on cooldown, and it was very hard for him to get into that fight because he didn't get that shield and then immediately in the face of the enemies. If he was able to jump in when the Braum was dying and get a decent taunt, that Misfortune ult would have shredded. So it was very, very lucky that blue side killed Braum as quickly as they did.
That's it, and while that was happening, Caston farming into the bottom lane, knowing that he has that carry potential in the late game if they can get there, but this 8k gold differential, blue side is on a timer, they do know that, and they are picking up these kills, they are picking up these hooks onto the enemy carriers. We can see if they do rotate this into a Cloud Drag spawning in 2 minutes 30.
Yeah, definitely, and they may actually try, when it spawns, to try to get another Rift Herald. So the only problem is with getting another Rift Herald, if they try to break, say, an inhibitor tower and then hit an inhibitor, if they can't continue the pressure with taking an inhibitor this early in the game, is that they actually funnel a lot of gold into mid lane while also denying themselves gold. So because the super minion tanks a lot of the minions, does not die to them, it kills all of your minions. So the enemy is getting denied. The enemy that took your inhibitor is getting denied all of these experience and gold from these minions, and you're getting the entire wave delivered to you at a very safe spot in your base because none of the minions really die due to the fact that the super minion will take most of it and it won't die from a lot of the things. So they have to be very careful if they want to pick up this Rift Herald respawn, that they won't use it in a spot that will actually put them in a disadvantage.
That's it, and we can see both sides prioritizing that bot lane river as Shen and Kel duke it out slowly in the top lane. Neither of them taking damage. Kel can't really dive anymore with the Shen getting a lot of tanky items. But nothing too much, no real AP items being built on the Shen. Is that a mistake, Daedric?
It depends. Kel seems to be going for that Blade of the Ruined King, where the bonus damage on extra health comes on the physical side. So all that bonus damage she's dealing when people have more health. Actually, we may be looking at a fight here. Depends if Kais can get out.
That's it, and she does back. She knows they're hunting for her. She has killer instincts, so do they, and she knows. Easily pick up the Rift Herald, trying to hunt for the Kai'Sa.
And I don't believe they think that they went back. And I believe they thought she was walking back, and they peeked out of that tri-bush and saw that she wasn't there and thought she got past them. I don't think they expected her to step back, so it's actually a very smart decision.
That's it, and we see the pings coming down from the blue side into the mid lane. One shove. Kai'Sa does pick up the red for this dragon spawning in 30 seconds. Red side does have the scuttle, but is about to expire as they're fighting for vision. Not too many wards in the inventories of both teams, so we're going to see a fiesta around the dragon pit.
We sure are. The lack of vision is really going to be interesting if one team or the other can handle it, because even with blue side in their lead, if they walk into a vision deficit and they get CC chained by Shen, Volibear and Braum, all that time can just be spent getting mowed down by Misfortune. While she isn't super ahead, she still has that fully completed first item, but it seems like they're backing up from the dragon in exchange to try to kill Kayle with that big 1,000 gold
They really
bounty.
want this Kayle down as a taunt comes in onto her. She can't do anything, but does have that divine judgment. Most of the damage, can she get the pickup of the Shen? Yes, she can. 1-for-1 trade, but they do lose the dragon as a result of giving up that pit.
And that shutdown gold goes directly into the pockets of Cassidy, the last person we're going to go into. So interesting to see if he's able to utilize them or not there.
That's it, but the third dragon does get picked up by the side of the Triumph team. As we all know, you don't really want to fight for that fourth dragon when you don't want to, so it might force you into fights that you don't want to take.
Yeah, and that's one of the main ways that you can win a game from pressuring the early game, is just forcing the enemy to come to you on this fourth dragon and basically say, look, we have a win condition, it's this dragon soul, you have to come to us at a bad spot and try to fight us, and if you lose the dragon, you lose the game. If you lose the fight, you lose the game.
And we can definitely see here, they're just slowly choking them out with Triumph, easily taking vision. If you look at the vision, bot side is just completely filled as Volibear comes in with the ult, does get Shen ult to killer instinct to protect himself, bullet time coming in, doesn't hit anyone as Warwick overstays his welcome. Goodbye, shutdown coming in straight towards the MF.
And will this teleport make it in time? I believe it will.
It
Kale
does,
not able to
but
take
lots
that
of damage
tower.
coming out. Misses the taunt.
She does output that damage though.
Yeah, it gives him the Radiant Blast and Celestial Blessing just to make him know that she can still do damage.
Whoa.
As the Volibear comes in, straight jump there and the taunt CC. Hasage could not win a gun out of there. This
And while all of them are there, blue side have actually not used that pressure elsewhere. They could have gone and tried to take in bot tower, which the minions may take it. I believe Misfortune will probably get there beforehand. But they didn't actually use that pressure very well. They've just gone and taken a Scuttle Crab around a dragon that won't spawn for another 3.5 minutes. So
that's it.
it's actually a pretty good play tunneling that many people in because they weren't able to capitalize on the fact that the numbers were so stacked up towards that top inhibitor tower.
We are very early in the game, 22 minutes, and already up to dragons. So blue side can't really take too much of the objectives, but they are breaking. We see here that and bot turrets for the red side are almost down. Cal can simply just Q once and they're gone. So she does have that pressure being applied to the red side team as both sides just reset. Let's see what they buy.
And it seems if we just have a quick look over at the golds, I haven't actually checked it in a while. Kayla's sitting at around about a 4k gold lead over Shen, which is very, very tough to get back on. And Kai'Sa has a 2-level lead plus about a 2 grand nearly over 80 carry, over the opposition carry.
And you see here, Kel trying to chase down the Volibear, has to use the their charm misses, doesn't really matter. Braum comes in just to say, hello, my Glacial Fissure prevents you from killing any of my party members. As nothing really happens, the Kel really wanted that Volibear though.
Yeah, she really, really did, and it was only at the cost of 2 ultimates for the price of 1. It means that they can pressure around Dragon now, seeing that they don't have that Braum ultimate to really CC up, but depends on if they want to just bait, which looks like they're trying to do, or if they just want to try it. They have got the Kai'Sa and the Kale. They will absolutely melt it. Oh,
This Shen is hooked, and he's out of there with the Tubby on the killing spree. An easy Baron pickup. Red side can't do anything. Miracle still might come in, but Kai'Sa does start to chunk this a lot.
Yep, Kai'Sa and Kale shred this. Volibear's only just getting out of base. Red team's bot lane is kind of looking, but I feel like Misfortune is trying to call that Braum back. Yeah, they just have to leave it.
Very easy pickup of the Baron side as we have Cloud Drake spawning in 1 minute. They're looking to reset, buy the items with a little love tap from the Kai'Sa using her Void Seeker just to say, Kassadin, hey, 1 Void Seeker, that's almost 15% of your HP gone.
And it seems like Kai'Sa will actually be going the AP route, seeing that Kale is going for a more AD focused build, which is quite interesting, as you can see from the that's a Stinger. So the Stinger, she's obviously not going to be building a Trinity 4, so she's building that into the Nash's Tooth, and she'll be using that Nash's Tooth to empower her W's and get that new change where she has the 70% reduced cooldown if she hits champions, and Shen actually hitting the flash taunt. Oh.
Does get onto the Kai'Sa, she can't really do anything with the MF with the back flash on the backside of that. Heal
I
was
believe
ready.
She just tried to press heal and accidentally fat fingered the flash as well. But all in all, that was the shutdown going onto Misfortune. And Misfortune, she has actually gone for rapid fire cannon second to try to keep distance. She's being very dangerous standing here, especially the health that she's in. Warwick could actually try to kill her.
As Warwick immediately comes in with the iron, suppresses her into the saying a welcome with no vision control. We see the Bush as the Ari comes in, tries to Q the Kassadin with the Shen ult coming in, saving the as he follows in with the taunt, does get the easy taunt, pick up with the Ari as the Kassadin walks away with 100% HP.
However,
sorry, 100 HP.
In top side, Kale absolutely doing work, taking out the top inhibitor as well. And it's at a stage in the game where shoving minions in is actually fairly good because it means you can then pressure, like how they're doing right now. Her pressure there, even if she does die, she'll probably take someone out, and then they also get Cloud Soul.
Kel with the Divine Judgment gets the double kill immediately. Does hey, can she get the no, she too much damage coming out of
But while she
that's it.
While she moved all that pressure towards her, that is Ocean Soul over, not Ocean Soul, apologies. If it was Ocean Soul, it would be complete GG, but Cloud Soul over. So it's seen as probably the weakest of all 4 of them. However, it does have a pretty good interactions with Kai'Sa, has pretty good interactions with Ari, because allows her to reposition quite heavily, and then Kale getting movement speed, especially if she uses it on an ally, and then uses that movement speed to kite the second it comes out of it. It will be very, very, very strong.
That's it. And this is certainly one of those games where top side win lane, win game with carry. No one can really 1v1 her, and with the Kai'Sa already having that strong early game lead over, just means that they're all over the map, taking the vision control. We can see the vision, they just have a random red side ward in the top tribe, but nothing else, as blue side just completely controls that bottom side towards that Elder Drake in 5.
And yeah, just toggling my vision with F2 over to the red side, you can just see that there's just such a lack of vision. It's very, very dark. It's very, very hard for them to walk out to their jungle and collect farm. So it's a very scary position to be in.
So see here, not much wave clear coming onto the side of the red side as they try to back out the Baron minions, and blue side content with just farming a bit as they look to position themselves towards mid, might try to crack this open. Top lane is auto pushing, and Kale sent down the bottom lane. No one can 1v1 her.
Yeah, and it's very, very smart to push it to a 4-1, just because Kale alone demands at least 3 people. So if you move those people to kill her at least, but to repel she probably needs 1 to 2. And she can just freely walk up to this lane while they pressure as a 4 in that mid. And if Cassidy comes over here solo, which he may try to, I don't believe you better kill her, and it'll be very dangerous to try to clear out the minions. So there's a 3-level lead over him as well. So she can just freely walk up and just...
is looking as the Cassidy does rift walk in. Doesn't really do anything as they're just trying to clear minions, but no fight yet, but they are looking.
Yes, yes,